The Dougherty doesn't give me really sus vibes.
Those kids are constantly being exploited, constantly being on camera without their permission. Little moments that mom films and puts on YouTube or on TikTok get broadcasted to the public, including to students in their school, because they are all in public school, and then they all get bullied. Like Alex Dougherty is getting bullied right now. Like people following him, swarming him, attacking him. That's that mom's fault.
If you've ever scrolled through family TikTok, YouTube, or other socials, chances are you've come across the Dougherty Dozen. It's a family channel led by mother Alicia Lee Dougherty, who's mostly shooting content, Joshua Bright Dougherty, who's mostly just behind the scenes, and their 11 children. Now, at first glance, their channel looks like any typical family vlogs consisting of grocery shopping videos, meal preps, and a household that always looks like it's running at full speed. But take a closer look and you'll see something unsettling. Their followers have called the family out for overfeeding the kids, overspending on unnecessary items,
12 iPhone 14s,
and constantly oversharing kids' personal information that should remain private.
6 of our kids are adopted from foster care and unfortunately endured early childhood neglect and trauma. Because of this, several of them do have lingering food. Several of our children will and have binged to the point of throwing up food, if allowed to eat however much they want to eat.
But what makes it even more bizarre is the fact that despite being called out for multiple reasons, multiple times, the family continues sharing almost everything going on in their children's lives, including their medical history.
My 4-year-old with autism went about 3 years of his life not eating solids due to several factors: gastroparesis, oral dysphagia, autism, food pickiness, and now... Bodhi, that is a lot of ketchup.
So if you've been living under a rock all this time, grab some popcorn or fasten your seatbelt, because today I'll take you on a long ride as we explore this rather unusual family.
let's go.
So who are the Dougherty Dozen?
How we became a family of 13. We are Josh and Alicia Dougherty. After 9 years of infertility, we decided to adopt from foster care. We adopted Alex when he was 5 years old, and 6 days later, we found out we were pregnant with Zoe. The next year, we were asked to adopt James from foster care, and 2 weeks later, we found out we were pregnant with Dash. Then we took foster care placement of Jordan and Jason, and we eventually adopted the twins. During that time, we also gave birth to Bodhi and Harley. Soon after, we adopted a sibling group from residential, Bree and Patrick. And in 2022, Deshawn moved in through kinship care, and we now have permanent custody. And that's how we became the Dougherty Dozen.
And after amassing over 7.5 million TikTok followers and over 1.5 million subscribers on YouTube by posting daily videos about their lives, people started noticing some weird patterns. For starters, this family's faced heavy criticism over the way food is shown on their channel, and a lot of that criticism centers on carbs, sugars, and processed meals rather than home-cooked food. Now, I know she has so many kids with different wants and needs. I honestly couldn't do what she does, but I see how she feeds the kids and all. I mean, all of it's processed. Just look at the lunches. They're so packed full of food and everything in it is unhealthy junk. Not to mention the portions between the 18-year-old and 4-year-old are the same. I saw their snack pantry and oh my gosh, there's nothing healthy there either. If you see what I feed my kids today, there's like 3 snacks a day. I try not to be judgy because, again, I know she has so many mouths to feed and probably not a lot of time. But her 2 oldest boys are overweight, which isn't their fault with how much she feeds them. The way these kids are eating can't be good long term. I don't consider myself a complete health food nut obsessive over every bite my kid takes, but her meal offerings are downright horrific. Badly planned, cold waffles, mountains of muffins, and over junk food lunches and trays of oily dinner slop, and the absurd amount of snacks. Yikes. I mean, we see it in our shopping runs. A singular bag of oranges, a little box of strawberries, and some bananas for fruit, but 6 boxes of chips and more muffin bites and bags upon bags of candy for every special day, which is every day. It still just horrifies me how much sugar, soda, and how much bottled water they go through, even though by now each kid has at least 10 water bottles with their name on it, and the amount of paper plates and plastic cutlery. I'm not sure if we have 11 kids and we're gonna completely fill a landfill with recyclables and food waste. Watch. But yeah, their diet is a damn train wreck in slow-mo. Specifically speaking, one of the most talked about moments was the 24-hour McDonald's challenge, where the entire family ate only McDonald's for a full day. including McGriddles, apple slices and cookies, and large drinks. And while some of the audience wondered why they needed to spend over $700 instead of cooking home-cooked meals for a quarter of the price, one commented on the effect of all that unhealthy combination of food, suggesting that bathroom bout to be reeking. And considering that several of the children are known to have health sensitivities to food, Alicia leaving that part out made people wonder whether everyone ate the food ordered, making the challenge format look like entertainment was prioritized over nutrition. Yet the criticism did not stop there, because there were other moments that raised eyebrows involving Alicia purchasing around 20 McFlurries and 20 apple pies in one haul. Now, even for a large family, that amount struck viewers as excessive, especially considering that much dessert at once made it look like sugar-heavy foods were normalized in the household, raising concerns about issues like obesity. Or as one Reddit user put it, "Honestly, if I were to eat what she makes every day, I would be severely obese. I gain weight so quickly, so I watch what I eat, sadly." But the criticism didn't stop there, because Alicia has time and again served Lunchables for school lunch. Now, Lunchables are widely criticized for being processed and high in sodium, and although there were some fruits and tomatoes for vitamins, when viewers see the junk taking most of the space in the lunchbox, it strengthens concerns about long-term nutrition. And yes, what she packed looked good for the camera, but it was all cold food, leaving some fans wondering, but where's hot food? Although some fans supported Alicia, claiming that the kids can just microwave the food at home, the lunch itself had been assembled from so much processed food, and microwaving it in plastic lunchboxes would only add microplastics in the already not-so-healthy food. And then there were times when Alicia served white bread and jelly sandwiches packed without protein or balanced sides for lunch.
Here's what my 11 kids got in their lunch today. Their entree today is a sandwich. Alex gets tortillas with Nutella. James and Patrick wanted tuna. Deshaun got turkey and cheese. Bree likes strawberry jelly. Zoe got chicken. Dash got PBJ. Jason and Harley got jelly. Fluff for Jordan and ketchup for Bodie.
Although some called her a supermom for recalling what each of the kids loved, it's what she added after that only made the nutrition factor more concerning.
Their drink today is Capri Sun. Their fruit is applesauce. Their veggie is carrot with ranch. Their dairy is a Bluey Go-Gurt and Paw Patrol cheese stick. Their treat is M&M's.
While the carrots were whole foods, most of the other foods were processed, meaning they contained high amounts of sodium and sugars. This brought a lot of criticism, because many people believe growing kids need more complete meals, or it'll eventually start to show in some of the kids if it hasn't already, either physically or health-wise. And knowing Alicia, she will no doubt share that information with the entire world. On top of that, chips appear frequently in daily meals and snack boards. But vegetables are rarely visible in the same clips, and unfortunately that imbalance has led viewers to question whether balanced meals are being prioritized. And because all the kids, from the youngest to the oldest, got almost the same ration of food, people began questioning her food portioning skills, despite Alicia considering herself pretty good at it.
The other day, who made 6 loaves of pumpkin bread? That got, not even one was gone. Are you really talking about portion control when your entire garage is full of shit? There's no portion control with you at all. Zero.
Even Reddit users began questioning if the kids actually eat the food she prepares. Or as one put it, "I don't think they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner that she prepares. I think it all goes in the garbage. It's all for show with the exception of the pizza that they all make. I have seen them eat it. They eat the frozen stuff and the packaged stuff when the cameras are off." And another one agreed by saying, "Yes, I think it's for show too. They're adventurous, according to her, but also really picky. I don't believe kids with aversions are eating walking tacos, squid, breakfast burritos, etc. The daily ketchup, fluff, and tuna sandwiches make it clear those kids don't like to go out of their comfort zone." As a result, others began speculating that all these early morning breakfasts are just for clout, or as one put it, "Most of her food looks nasty. I think she posts those 5 a.m. videos for mom points. It's also really unnecessary. She could just give those kids a bowl of cereal, some fruit, and a breakfast muffin and call it a morning. We never see them eating breakfast, which is suspicious." Regardless, all this speculation brought even more engagement with her content, growing her online presence even more. But what shocked people even more was the fact that despite the already large quantities of food the kids were already served, each child had a mini fridge stocked with candy and sugary drinks.
Mini fridge restock for my 11 kids. This week, Harley asked for
M&M's and one donut.
Bodie wanted
M&M's and two donuts.
But giving children 24/7 access to sweets shocked many, as they saw it as excessive. Unfortunately for Alice, that detail reinforced claims about overindulgence, because the kids had too much sugary foods which they didn't need, but would be tempted to consume. Yet it gets even worse because Pop-Tarts and white bread have been shown as a regular breakfast option, sometimes brand sponsored. However, Pop-Tarts are known for high sugar content. Nevertheless, frequent appearances made viewers question nutritional balance. But the sugar consumption only got worse on birthdays.
Alex's birthday. For breakfast, he requested Dunkin' Donuts. For lunch, he wanted Chick-fil-A. I set out a variety of Oreos for their after-school snack.
Because the diet of the day would include high-carbs food, cake, candy from piñatas, and stacking sugar on sugar. But celebrations ended with sweet dessert portions and a birthday cake that contributed to the overall pattern of too much sugar that critics highlight. Specifically speaking, some Reddit users analyzed pantry tours and claimed the shelves appear mostly stocked with packaged snacks and sweets, with little visible produce. And although pantry organization can vary, the visual ratio shaped how people saw everything the kids ate. For this reason, harsh critics have described Alicia's food choices for the kids as very unhealthy and actually bad for them.
Same shit every day for these kids, and it's bad for you.
For this reason, some Reddit users argued that Alicia was setting these kids up for health issues in the future. One commented, "The amount of fast food and processed sugar she feeds these kids is abhorrent. My parents raised me on a healthy diet, yet I still ended up with fatty liver disease at 24 just from eating like crap throughout college. I can't even imagine the kind of health problems await her kids in the future. It's actually really sad." Or as another one put it, Alicia is setting the kids up for diabetes, heart disease, and fatty liver disease, among other things. She's also shortening their lifespan. It's just disgusting. Alicia has some sort of mental illness. I'm all for doing this. All in all, I think if she'd replace most junk food with fresh veggies, fruit, and homemade bread, cake, cookies, the kids would be fed better. I saw her feeding the kids too fatty, salty, and sugary stuff. Chips for lunch are also something German school kids would never have. Some of the kids are already overweighted. The others will get there. Now, the unhealthy eating was one thing the family got criticized for. They were eating too much and had too much already stored. But to afford all that junk, the family had to be spending big. And it's something the audience came to notice. Because when they checked the numbers behind the massive shopping hauls, let's just say they were more than amazed.
Weekly grocery shopping for my family of 14. Cleaning supplies, paper plates. Can you guess what country we're doing for Around the World night? Cereals and snacks, baking supplies, and look at this adorable pancake mold. Pickles for National Pickle Day. Veggies. Gravy and condiments. Gotta have the Velveeta. And I topped off cart 1 with chips. Cart 2. Stocking up on onions for Thanksgiving, produce, bananas, and the bread for the week, plus stuffing cubes. A few toiletries. Cart 3. Ice for Alex, milks for the week, cheeses, yogurts, Lunchables. Cart 4. Turkey cakes, ice cream, popsicles, nuggets, and fries. Sparkling juice, and 4 14-pound turkeys for Thanksgiving. The meats for the week, and 14 loaves of bread for spaghetti bowls. Time to check out. That's it for today. See you next time. Cereals and snacks, baking supplies, and look at this adorable pancake mold. Pickles for National Pickle Day. Veggies. Gravy and condiments. Gotta have the Velveeta.
But if you thought that was it, that was the first cart, and she filled 3 more.
Weekly grocery shopping for my family of 14. Cleaning supplies, paper plates. Can you guess what country we're doing for Around the World night? Cereals and snacks, baking supplies, and look at this adorable pancake mold. Pickles for National Pickle Day. Veggies. Gravy and condiments. Gotta have the Velveeta. and I topped off cart 1 with chips. Cart 2, stocking up on onions for Thanksgiving, produce, bananas, and the bread for the week, plus stuffing cubes. A few toiletries. Cart 3, ice for Alex, milks for the week, cheeses, yogurts, Lunchables. Cart 4, turkey cakes, ice cream, popsicles, nuggets, and fries, sparkling juice, and 4 14-pound turkeys for Thanksgiving, the meats for the week, and 14 loaves of bread for spaghetti bowls. Time to check out. That's it for today. See you next time.
And this figure does not include other major expenses like Amazon purchases, clothing, school supplies, therapy, or medical costs. While groceries are a significant budget category, online shopping, particularly Amazon, is a separate and substantial expense, with Alicia reportedly spending over $1,000 in a single month on Amazon alone at times. Nevertheless, this was phrased as a weekly restock. But in another video, she documented buying so much products that she needed a flatbed to carry it around the store.
Weekly grocery haul for my family of 13. On flatbed 1, I got toilet paper, paper towels, laundry supplies, dish soap, allergy meds, paper, forks, spoons, plates, bowls, garbage bags, can't forget the coffee, baking supplies, and a Bauduco Pantone, and left that flatbed up front. Flatbed 2, 224 bottled waters plus.
She went to get another flatbed? How much of it does she really need? But it gets even more insane.
Bed 2, 224 bottled waters plus Waterloo sparkling water, 6 cases of mini Gatorade, Capri Sun, pizza crust, bagels, buns, and bread for the week, and left that up.
And because they were about to have some birthday parties coming soon,
Flatbed 3, I got candy for our 2 birthday parties we're having this week. Some snacky snacks, Nutella and Go, beef jerky, crackers, pita chips, Little Debbie, Hostess, 358 bags of lunch chips. I stocked up on pastas and sauce.
by the end of that shopping spree, Alicia had spent over $2,000. At this rate, viewers had so many questions. Or as one commenter put it, $2,280? How do you do it? That is so much food and things. It looks like your pantry's always super full. Where does everything go? You can argue that it's a birthday week, and given the many kids involved, the total including gifts, decorations, and food is perhaps not that much. But sometimes even the normal weekly grocery hauls often land around $2,500 because multiple cart hauls are common.
Walmart haul for my family of 13. In cart 1, I started with some toiletries. We needed a birthday present for a party this weekend. We needed a new smoothie maker. I got some egg dye kits to dye Easter eggs on Good Friday. We needed a new vacuum after the puppy ate the cord off the old vacuum. Windshield wiper fluid for the van, and Harley and...
This was the first cart, and by now, as you know, there will be multiple carts.
Part 2, I got the boxed and canned items, pastas and tomato sauce, beans, veggies, broths, muffin mixes and waffle mix, cereal, fruit snacks, applesauce, snack packs, muffin bites, and...
Some grocery trips totaled around $4,500, including non-food items like wrapping paper and gifts. And despite critics arguing that including those items inflates totals for shock value, some hauls have shown totals of over $5,000.
We are loaded in. Let's go home.
But when they got home, they still did some more online shopping.
For other shopping, we had the sushi platter from Wegmans, the wraps from Pita Pit, the New Year's donuts from Donuts Delight, that I ordered Dash and Josh's birthday cake, plus balsam bagels because Dash loves those, and then all of my random Amazon.
Nevertheless, these are presented as restocks for a large household and some random stuff she bought because she could. Yet it gets even much more because some hauls reach up to $8,000. And while some saw this as essential for a large family, some speculated that these massive hauls are only meant to drive engagement, as people will continue talking about it, whether criticizing it, admiring it, or wondering how they even afford all this. But while most of these super expensive hauls happen on special occasions like birthdays and cultural ceremonies, her reported monthly food spending has been stated at $4,000 a month, more than double the average family. Now, Amazon spending escalated in one instance to $11,000+ in a single order, including linens, probiotics, and themed supplies. But that wasn't the highest number shown online. Specifically speaking, Christmas spending has been a major focus, with one of the videos documenting over $16,000 spent for the holiday alone.
How much did we spend on Christmas for our 10 kids? Well, we got each of them a brand new bike,
and they all needed new bike helmets. Add that into everything else we bought on Amazon, which was their Nintendo Switches, Wii U, laptop.
The oldest boys got new iPhone 13s with all the accessories, wrapping paper for each kid, $2,000 for each of the kids' biological siblings to have presents, and above all,
A plane ticket for Alex's biological mom to visit, teacher gifts, and shoes, outfits, pictures, and matching family jammies.
not forgetting teachers' presents, food, and stocking stuffers, over $16,500. And as if they couldn't get even more indulging, on another Christmas Black Friday haul, it included 12 iPhone 14s and the usual massive holiday haul costing the family over $18,900 in the end.
We had to get this 12-foot Christmas tree for them. Then we impulse bought this arcade game, a new mattress for James, and some bath bombs for Zoe. Next we went to AT&T, where we got 12 iPhone 14s, new phone cases, and charger blocks. I also did some online shopping for Deshaun's F7 helmet he wanted, plus Ghost pre-workout for Alex, Pokemon cards for Zoe, Rainbow Friends stuff for Bodie, and figurines for Jason. Happy Black Friday!
Nevertheless, viewers were stunned by that figure alone, as some admitted that, "I just got called broke in 10 different ways." This left people wondering what Alicia and Joshua did for a living to afford all that. Or as one commenter put it, "I don't mean to be nosy, but how do you guys have money for everything? I only have one kid and I'm struggling." And this made sense because the totals were extremely high, yet the purchases often looked repetitive or unnecessary. Yet the spending patterns go beyond food and gifts, because she stated she pays around $1,000 per month at a laundromat, despite owning a home, and she's also hired a personal assistant, reportedly costing $11,000 per month to help manage content and household logistics. But it gets even more interesting, because looking at yearly totals, receipts, and expense videos suggest she spent approximately $924,000 in 1 year, with critics arguing that number can get to nearly $1 million.
$211,079. Those are her yearly bills. Plus $612,537.93. Plus $100,000. Grand total $923,616.93. So,
while most viewers think this is insane, some viewers believe shock totals drive views, especially when grocery hauls include non-food items. To them, she has to be making more from the engagement this brings. That's why she doesn't mind making those crazy purchases, because otherwise she'd be making losses. True, there were a lot of products bought, but perhaps the most controversial expense involved flying in a child's biological mother as a birthday gift. Pretty emotionally complex. Fortunately, some viewers saw it as generous. Now, regardless of this perspective, the pattern of large receipts, multiple carts, luxury tech gifts, and high monthly disclosures has shaped the overspending narrative around the dozen. Now, this is where many critics say the family, particularly Alicia, crosses the most serious line. Because while junk food and big spending can be debated, a child's private medical and trauma history follows them forever once it's online. Alicia has openly shared her deeply personal information about her children on multiple platforms, and much of it involves diagnosis, foster care trauma, and medical struggles that most families would keep private.
So for a lot of the kids that we've cared for in foster care, they have the combination of bipolar genetics, trauma and neglect, alcohol and drug use in utero, which has caused brain damage, low IQ, executive functioning issues, cognitive issues, developmental delays. And then you add in multiple removals from home.
For sharing a bit too much, some criticized her for it. One commented, "She gives out too much information about these kids, trying to make herself a hero of some kind, because they all have issues and she took them in." And another one went as far as to speculate, "I believe she also added on some more issues for sympathy. She is a fraud, and had I worked with the system, I wasn't giving her these kids. Money or a house don't make a family. They live badly." Nevertheless, Alicia has framed this transparency as raising awareness, despite critics arguing that children cannot fully consent to having their histories broadcast to millions. Specifically speaking, one of the most widely cited examples involves her publicly discussing that some of her children have fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, and that this condition led to incontinence issues requiring protective undergarments.
Some of my children battle incontinence because of their fetal alcohol syndrome, and so we have to get them Depends because they no longer fit in pull-up.
Many viewers felt that discussing something that is sensitive, especially tied to a specific diagnosis, could humiliate a child later in life, which often leads to them getting bullied. Now she's also disclosed an adopted son's full medical history and video content, including trauma background, behavioral diagnosis, and abuse experienced in foster homes.
The most tragic thing that happened to one of our children that we adopted from foster care is that they were taken from their home as a toddler for suspected physical abuse. He then spent 4 years in an abusive and neglectful foster home.
Nevertheless, critics argue that once you connect a face, a name, and a diagnosis, that child loses long-term privacy. Specifically speaking, she has publicly named a child's school in videos, something quite dangerous, because revealing a school name online creates obvious safety concerns, especially for a family with a large social media following. Now in other videos, she's discussed a child's PTSD diagnosis, and even referenced that the child's score was double the qualifying threshold. However, sharing a measurable trauma score makes the disclosure feel clinical and permanent. Nevertheless, it becomes searchable content tied to that child's identity. Perhaps it's all for clout. Now she's also publicly blamed a biological mother's smoking during pregnancy for a child's asthma. However, that shifts responsibility into public view and exposes details about a birth parent's struggles. Nevertheless, viewers questioned whether that kind of blame needed to be shared at all because, well, her kids will definitely be bullied now. Mom of the damn year. Wow, just wow. Specifically speaking, she's referred to some of her kids collectively as trauma kids. Unfortunately, labeling children by their trauma rather than simply as individuals can shape how the audience views them. But she's also made dupe comparisons between her children and fictional characters. Specifically speaking, she called one son a sideshow Bob dupe, which critics felt carried racial undertones. Nevertheless, she later referenced to another child as Rue Bennett dupe, referencing a character from an adult TV series. Unfortunately, some viewers felt that was inappropriate for a minor. On top of that, one of the more troubling disclosures involved mentioning that a child arrived with a sexual history, which she connected to installing cameras inside the home. However, discussing that level of detail publicly raised serious concerns about dignity and privacy. But it gets even worse, because Alicia has openly discussed food hoarding and stealing behaviors tied to past neglect and personal insecurities.
Lying, stealing, food hoarding, food binging.
However, while trauma-informed parenting can explain those behaviors, critics argue that publicizing them invites ridicule. Yet she's also talked about poor hygiene struggles and low self-esteem in certain children. Specifically speaking, she explained these as trauma side effects. While she thinks she's creating awareness for kids with such conditions and helping their parents live with it, unfortunately those admissions are searchable and permanent on the internet. Now in multiple videos, she's detailed explosive rage episodes lasting hours, including property damage and screaming, as again a way to create awareness, but many believe that kind of content exposes a child's most vulnerable moments. Specifically speaking, she's explained attachment issues, saying some children try to bond with teachers as backup parents.
Attempting to attach to people in the community, such as teachers, so that they have a backup parent because they think that we'll get rid of them.
Nevertheless, that kind of emotional detail is rarely shared publicly by other families. Despite knowing this and getting criticism for too much information, she has shared allergy testing results, inhaler use, and multiple medications by name. However, that reveals ongoing medical treatment information. But as if it couldn't get any worse, she's also discussed cognitive struggles, including low IQ and brain damage due to prenatal alcohol exposure, including the neurological impact in detail. Unfortunately, once stated publicly, those comments can follow a child academically and socially forever, as long as it's on the internet. For this reason, some have speculated that Alicia did not get these adopted kids out of the goodness of her heart, but rather for the attention it brought. One commenter said, "So they have issues with hoarding food and binging, and yet she buys massive amounts of junk food. Makes sense. I don't think Alicia fostered adopted out of the goodness of her heart. I think it was all for attention for herself, which she sure got." Despite this backlash, she frequently introduces her children by name along with their diagnosis in videos. connecting identity directly with medical conditions. This is where critics argue that children deserve the chance to decide later what parts of their story they want public. But now they cannot, especially for the minors, because she has some kind of parental control over them. But while Alicia frames her content as educational and awareness-driven, the backlash centers on consent and permanence, with others suggesting save the children, stop the exploitation of children for personal gain. However, once private trauma, medical records, hospital visits, and diagnoses are tied to faces and names online, there is no undo button, unfortunately. For many critics, the oversharing section is where the debate shifts from lifestyle choices to long-term psychological consequences for the children involved. Yet despite the backlash, some still believe she has the right to share any information about her kids as she sees fit. One commenter said, "Shame on you for doing this to her. She took 8 children out of foster care and fed them and spoiled them and loved them. And not only that doesn't keep them from their biological family, are any of you getting kids out of foster care? If she wants to share her story of taking these kids, she can." Or as another one simply put it, "They could not have better parents than you both." Perhaps the family should have used all those expenses to secure investments that'll pay off in the future of these kids, rather than spending it on junk, hoping that it'll bring more engagement. Or maybe they know exactly what they're doing, and are relying on people getting enraged and engaging with their content more and more, whether with negative or positive comments.